Oh, Miss Adrian. Tell me what you're hiding. Sorry to break it to you, but there is the genuine article. Burroughs went back to the Korean village and had it examined. Is that right? That's nice, but I don't see how. What she discovered was that the vase was broken. Again. Did you say again? Yeah, it was broken once a year ago. Now it looks like the same thing has happened again. And quite recently, too. Recently? Are you saying that this urn was broken recently? Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. Why do you think it was broken recently? How do you know? Because it's covered in splotches. Or this. Can I just represent this? So, Mr. Wright? Why do you think it was broken recently again? Well, because I just think so. What? Not sure what she wants here. Get a card, please. I'll ask you one more time. How do I know it was broken recently? I don't fucking know. Treasure exhibit. Okay. This poster, it was made recently, right? A poster? Ah, a poster for the exhibit. At the time when the photo was taken, the urn said I am on it. I didn't even... But now, for some mysterious reason, it says Ami. When the urn was fixed, the letters were transposed. Ah! I am. What does that even mean? I don't know anything about that. I wasn't even there when the photo for this photo poster was taken. That was a mistake. Now I'll tell the truth. What? Wait. 4? Even if the urn was broken, I had nothing to do with it. Huh? Yes, that's it. It must have been one of the people at the photo shoot. They probably dropped it. I'm sure that's what happened. Looks like I still haven't broken the entire sidewalk. Do you have any proof that the urn was broken here at Lordly Taylor? There's paint on it. Do I have your testimony? Can't see anything. It's paint. There's fucking paint on it. I know I was right about you, Mr. Wright. Excuse me. You're a softy at heart, aren't you? I knew you'd never hurt me on purpose. What a relief. I never would want to hurt you on purpose. Oh my god. I don't know. Well, then prove me wrong. I don't fucking know. I don't think I have enough evidence yet. I have to. I didn't mean to press stop, by the way. This box, there's something bothering me. That's the box that the sacred urn was in. Looks like there's some pink paint on it, too. That's definitely the same color as the stuff on the urn. I think I know how the paint got on it. Alright, let's investigate again, Nick. Are you fucking kidding me? Why couldn't I have added them? Are you saying I spent... Oh my god, fuck you. Fuck it, fuck you. Come on. Really? It looks to me like it's been dry for several days. There's nothing suspicious about the paint line. The bottom left part of it is shaped oddly and it's shockingly pink. Mr. Nick, could it be that this odd shape is? Yeah, pretty sure that this is it. That's the box the sacred urn was in. If you look here, there's a bit of paint in the box as well. Wow, you're right. Look, it matches. Yeah, I noticed that from the beginning. Of course, I'm not allowed to do something early. What is it, Mr. Nick? This is all turning out exactly as I thought it would. I think it's all starting to become clear. Without much question to solving the mystery of what really happened. Why couldn't I have just done this before? fucking skip through everything. Yeesh. This thing. Thank God. Well, Miss Andrews? What is this supposed to mean? The urn that has these pretty, little pink paint splotches on it. And there's one on the box the urn was stored in too. There's some. No matter how you look at it, the paint seems to be exactly the same. Wouldn't you say? So, what does that prove? That the urn was dropped along with the box. That's when they both got paint on them. Are you with me so far? Yes. The rest of the story is obvious. The box was dropped right here in Lord Lee Taylor basement warehouse. If I can prove that, it means that the urn was broken here too. So can you prove that? Can you prove that the box was dropped here in the basement? Yes. Ah, I think you already know where I'm going with this, don't you? Yes, more or less. There's pink paint splattered on the floor and walls of this basement warehouse. But there's an odd shape imprinted into a part of the paint stain, am I right? Yes. If you put the box into the impression in the paint, you can see it fits perfectly. Which means the box was dropped right there. And that is when the urn was broken. Your name... I couldn't read in time. Please. I'm so sorry. I was the one who broke the urn. Boy, does that make me feel like some sort of evil school teacher. Hey, you're all good in my eyes. I'm a terrible person. Not only did I break it, but I tried to hide it what I did. Well, that's not so hard to understand now, is it, Burley? No, not at all. I know just how she feels. It happened about 2 weeks ago. Just after the poster photo was taken, on the same day the urn arrived here. Are you fucking kidding me? I thought I'd put it away down here for safekeeping. I was carrying it in the box. Well, I tripped on the paint can and lost my balance. You're all good in my eyes. The box I was carrying crashed into the ground. I heard a terrible noise and thought my heart was going to stop. Fearing the worst, I opened the lid of the box and that's when it happened. The broken pieces of the urn fell out of the box and landed right in the paint. I was in shock. I let a huge scream. I can totally see how that could have happened. Yeah, as clumsy as she is, I'm sure Maya understands. Because Maya probably did it. And just didn't break it. Well, I knew it was the most important treasure in all of the Korean village, so I tried as hard as I could to fix it. Fortunately, the shards were pretty big. And that's when the I am changed to Ami. I didn't know how it was originally written, but any sane person fixing it would have assumed it said Ami. Any sane person, really? Oh, Pearls. She said she wasn't very good at spelling. Me neither. Anyway, I put the urn into the storeroom and no one had seen it since then. I mean, you put it together really fucking well. Not gonna lie. But there's something I don't get. When you first came here, I didn't see any paint stains. Well, that's because I was so ugly. Because it was so ugly and embarrassing. I used the golden statue to cover it. The Ami face statue. Uh-huh. The first time that we came down here, it was on the night that the sacred urn was stolen. But Mr. Nick, there were no paint marks on the wall and the floor in the warehouse when we were here. But there's good reason for that. On the day of the crime, around noon, the golden statue just happened to arrive from the mountain training hall. And I realized that this statue would be a perfect site for covering up the paint stains. That's why I put it where you first saw it. I see. Now it makes perfect sense. But there's still one thing I find strange. What is it, Pearl? The day after the urn was stolen, we came here again. And that time the statue had been moved and the paint was clearly visible. She's right about that. Well, Miss Andrews? What? I don't know anything about that. I placed it there to cover the paint, so why would I move it again? Well, then who was it? Who would have done it and why? On the day before the theft, the statue was definitely closer to the door. Then the next day it was moved, but why? Probably to climb up onto that beam. Because I bet. I need to see it one more time. Looks like there's some connections between the Sacred Urn and the murder case. There might be a way to get into that room from that beam. Why? Why do you think so, Nick? Because that night, the real thief, Ron DeLay, was at KB Security. So then why did another Master Mask show up here? A lot of different things are pointing to one undeniable fact. One undeniable fact? I have no idea what the fuck's going on. Murder trial is starting tomorrow. It looks like that thief is going to be making another appearance. There's so many different things and ways this can go. Save. Hey, Nick. What is it this time? You won't believe how many people are here for the trial. Well, it is a murder case. What are you talking about? They're here for the trial next door. Next door? Why don't you know this, Nick? They're having Detective Atmey's trial today. Detective Atmey? They say they're going to try him as Master Mask. Already? That was fast. Boy, I'd love to see Master Mask's trial. I know. By the way, where's Pearls? Oh, she went back home. She said she can't neglect her training anymore. I know you don't like me. Okay, that just feels like Ron Delight right there. Though it's probably Gumshoe. Pearls has really gotten into her training lately, huh? Ever since that incident last year. Please don't ignore me. Yeah, I was right. Oh, Mr. Delight, good morning. No one likes me. No one would notice me even if I killed someone. Come on, don't be silly. Wait a sec. You don't mean you're the murderer? No! I'm just a poor thief. No, wait, that's not right. A thief can't really be poor. Now let's see, according to Mr. Delight, from his second crime on, he was following a bunch of set plans. Plans that someone had been sending him to help him commit these heists. Do you think there's a connection between the thief and the murderer, Nick? It's possible, but today's trial was a race against the clock. Huh? How come? Let's just take our time like always. I'm afraid that that's not an option. Hmm? Why is that an option? Oh, because if you're going to want to get Atmey, he can't be tried for the Master Mask thing. He has to be found innocent of that. That's why you have to hurry. I get you right. Court is now in session for the trial of Mr. Ron Delight. The defense is ready, Your Honor. You're ready. Preparation is the last refuge of the week. Okay, settle down, everyone. Let's begin with your opening statement. Mr. Godot. He's got the judge in the palm of his hands yet again. Ron Delight is simply too young to be sent to war. That's all. I'm afraid I have no idea what that means, Mr. Godot. Huh. Then you need to get out more, Your Honor. Life is war, but that is exactly why you must be more precise in your wording. That's all my statement means. You understand, right? Yes, well then, let me briefly summarize the details of this case. Wow, the judge is taking charge like he knows what's going on for a change. The victim is Kane Bullard, CEO of KB Security. The body was found in a safe at approximately 9 a.m. on the following morning. However, the time of death was estimated as 1 a.m. of the previous day. And that's when our little lost kitten dropped the ball. And the little lost kitten is, of course, the defendant. Very well then, Mr. Godot. Please call your first witness. Never drink more than 17 cups of coffee during any given trial. But the first one is always the best. Mr. Godot, your witness? Okay then, let's hear what the defendant, Mr. Rondelite, has to say for himself. The defendant? Well, Mr. Wright, does the defense have any objections? I'd rather not hear from him. It may be a bit of a disadvantage having the defendant testify, but I remember when Mia was defending me. She allowed me to testify so she could do the cross-examination. She put a lot of trust on me back then. We have no objections, Your Honor. The defense will allow Mr. Delight to testify, but I don't want him to testify. Huh. You've got guts, Trite. Alright then, Mr. Rondelay, please take the stand. You did it, didn't you? Yes. What? No. That's not true. For a moment there, I thought we'd set the record for the shortest trial ever. Well, Mr. Delight already looks plenty guilty with that face he's making. And once he opens his big mouth, he'll probably put the last nail in his own coffin. Very well. Now then, can you tell me something? You didn't kill him, Bullard. Why did you go to KB Security? Oh, well, it's kind of hard to say. Boy, I wish I could go home. Now then, let's hear some testimony about what happened. I'd probably rather not, to be honest. My visit to KB Security. That evening, around 1 a.m., I went to see Mr. Bullard in his office at KB Security. The blackmail letter I got ordered me to go there. I'd been working for KB Security until a year ago, so I knew where his office was. "1 a.m., the exact time of the murder took place. The weak get washed away by the tides of fate, the strong drink it up. Just like my coffee. It's bitter today, too, just like my destiny. You never know that from the way he's chugging it down. Mr. Wright, your cross-examination, if you please." Look, buddy, I don't like you. 1 a.m., huh? You're absolutely sure about that? Yes, that's what my watch said when I was entering the CEO's office. No. Actually, I'm not really sure. My watch was slow, and my internal clock was sort of... 1 a.m., that's the exact time the victim, Mr. Bullard, was murdered, correct? It's too late for a coffee date, that's for sure. The blackmail letter I got ordered me to go from there. It ordered you there. It was the first time I'd gotten a blackmail letter that ordered me to go somewhere. Does that mean you've gotten your other blackmail letters then? Oh, of course. They'd say things like, steal this or take that. Don't you save those for later, Mr. Delight. Please don't say any more. Now what should I do? Press harder. So what did the blackmail letter in question say? It said to bring around $50,000. Money, eh? Perfect motive for committing murder. But wait. I never intended to pay the money anyway. Oh, is that right? After all, he had nothing to hold over my head. I had nothing to be afraid of. Important point indeed. Witness, let's have that added to your testimony. Yes, sir. A muddy mud skipper in outer space has a better believability than this dude, I think is what he's going on. Just what were you being blackmailed about anyway? The blackmail letter said if you don't want your identity revealed, correct? I'm sure he was referring to the whole mask to mask thing. But I wasn't worried Mr. Bullard didn't have anything on me. You didn't? Anyway, I don't care what anyone says about me. Just as long as Desi believes in me. So that's why Mr. Light didn't believe he was masked to mask. That's why I knew that they were just hollow threats. I'd been working for KV Security until a year ago, so I knew where his office was. You used to be a security chief for KV Security, right? Yes, that's right. Security chief? You? And yet a year ago, you were fired without notice. Revenge for an old grudge? Perfect motive for murder, wouldn't you say? This isn't good. Maybe I should change the subject. Why were you fired? Mr. Delight, please tell us why you were fired from your job. Oh, well. The world is filled with those who have said, I wish I had never asked that. Okay, then I take it back. Defendant, please answer the question. I needed money. You needed money? Oh, well, you see, Desi loves to spend. It's kind of her hobby. Not exactly the best hobby in the world, huh, Nick? My salary wasn't nearly enough, so I stole data from the company. Come again? KV Security has a lot of security info on all sorts of companies. And since I was security team chief, you stole some data and sold it. Mr. Bullard found out and I was fired immediately. What? I wish I had never asked that. How do you know about that? I was just somehow able to keep it secret and made it seem like I'd quit on my own. What is it, Nick? You don't look so good. I don't feel so good. Someone who brings harm to their company is fired as punishment. You'll do well to remember that. He sure told you. So you admit that you stole data from your company, is that correct? Yes, I'm sorry. It's a very important fact. Please add it to your testimony. Oh man, this whole thing just took a big turn for the worse. Crashed and blew up. It's gonna take the jaws of life to rip this case from the clutches of disaster. No, Desi doesn't know about that. Well, she does now. Why would you do something like that? Well, for Desi's hobby, what else? Wasting money, huh? It's not a waste. It's not a waste. So, Miss Delight doesn't know that her husband was fired, does she? So it would seem. I'm not sure what to think about couples who keep secrets like that from each other. I mean, it's not like he was doing it maliciously. He's doing it because he knows that she would be upset about it. And probably doesn't want her to be having a worse lifestyle. Because he's not exactly the most great guy. I can't believe that. This case has gotten even has gotten even Maya to think seriously about couples. Please try to stay focused, Mr. Wright. There wasn't much to his testimony, was there? Sounds like he's avoiding something. At least that's what it sounds like to me. Oh, I've got a bad feeling about this. You better be careful. But if we don't find a way to make him spill the beans, we'll never get closer to the truth. Yeah. No, I need to press that other one. Because there's something else I could get into. I think it would probably be better if I did that one. Or was it this one? Which one was it? There's one where I had different... The blackmail letter said if you don't want your identity revealed, correct? I'm sure it was referring to the whole mask-to-mask thing.
Objection.
Tis, I'm afraid that reason isn't going to hold up anymore. What do you mean? The victim had no proof the defendant was mask-to-mask. But you were the one who stole company secrets only 1 year earlier. But that was all over once I was fired. But the truth is, the fact I stole secrets was kept under wraps. Even so, there was no reason for me to pay up now a whole year later. Is that really true? What is it, Nick? The fact that Ron was stealing company data. I wonder if he would have had a problem if it ever became public knowledge. He would, because his wife would know. Mr. Delight, I believe you would have been in considerable trouble if your identity as a computer data thief was made public. What are you trying to do by bullying your own client? Huh. Men are like colonies of bacteria. The more heat you apply, the faster they grow. That's exactly right. Well then, feel free to keep up the heat, my little lawyer amigo. A little lawyer amigo? Yeah, now come on. Provide some evidence to back up your assertion. Why would Mr. Delight want to keep this secret from going public? Because of his wife. Mr. Delight, what you said just now doesn't match what you told me yesterday. Huh? What doesn't? I think you must have been scared, very scared, of having a certain person find out your secret. Oh, a certain person? Yeah, his beautiful wife. Miss Desiree Delight, the defendant's wife. Oh, but listen to me, my Desi, she's... Looks like if I just sit back and relax, the fun will end before it truly begins. Godot. Yes, we all know it was all your wife's fault. What do you mean? Mr. Delight stole company data to pay for his wife's spending habit, for which he was fired. Unable to face his own wife, someone used his dirty little secret to blackmail him. And that is how this murder came about. Oh, no, everything's falling neatly in place for him. Don't talk about my Desi like that. Or you'll be sorry. Well, it seems that we've learned a great deal of things here so far. What do you think, Nick? I don't think it was possible to get so thoroughly whipped in just 20 minutes. Clearly, there's some sufficient motive for murder. He stole data for his wife. He killed to protect his secret. A family man who cared just a little too much. I swear to God, if this is actually over. The motive is clear. Let's move on. What happened at the crime scene at 1 in the morning, Mr. Delight? Come now, tell us. We're all ears. At the CEO's office. When I entered the office, there was a suspicious shadow there. Suddenly, I was hit on the forehead. After that, I remember being dazed. A bit dazed. If I hadn't been wearing that, I would have been killed. When I came to, Mr. Bullard was lying there dead. Wearing what? I see. Suddenly hit on the forehead, huh? I believe the detective from yesterday provided similar testimony. He said that Master Mess struck him on the head from behind. Of course, since Abney turned out to be the culprit himself, that was all a lie. Huh. No one's gonna believe a pathetic lie like that. What are you saying? I really was attacked. We'll find out if what you say is true or not during the cross-examination. Got that, Mr. Trite? Don't go easy just because he's your client. If I see any sign that you are, I'll treat you to another blend of my special, another cup of my special blend. You don't need to worry about that, Mr. Godot. I have faith in Ron. I know he didn't do it. Fuck. I have no idea anymore about him.